In a new book teaser, a Sister Wives star drops a big bombshell from season 1. Camera crew followed Cody. Christine Brown says in her new book, Sister Wives, that Cody put other people ahead of her when their kid was born. Season 19 of the show is ended, but the drama is far from over. An Instagram post from recently has made people wonder about the story that was told in season 1 of the TLC reality show. Christine Brown Woolley, Cody Brown's third spiritual wife, posted on Instagram on July 25, 2025, and revealed her honest feelings about a past event. Christine stated in the post's caption, "It's getting real." Christine is in a recording booth in the Instagram reel, recording the audio for her new book, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom. In the video that was shared, Christine read a passage from her new book that described a scene from the first season of Sister Wives when she was giving birth to her daughter, Truly Brown. Cody wasn't there to support his then-wife Christine during her delivery. He had other things to do. Christine said, "The camera crew followed Cody that day too. He rushed home to Robin." Christine continued, "He needed to check in, I don't know, the kids? What did she think of my work?" Soon after, Christine looked at the camera, smiled, and raised her eyebrows. This particular event saw the light of day in the 4th episode of Sister Wives Season 1, which was titled Third Wife in Labor. At that point, Christine was in labor, but instead of visiting her in the hospital, Cody decided to meet Robin Brown. What really caught fans' attention was Cody and Robin's attempt to hide their pre-marriage kiss from the cameras. When Cody left to return to Christine, who was in active labor at the hospital, Robin tried to quietly close the door behind him, but not quickly enough, as the cameras captured their kiss. In a season 19 episode of Sister Wives, Robin addressed the moment and dismissed claims that they had acted improperly before marriage. According to Parade magazine, Robin claimed, "Oh no, nothing. Little church kisses. Something you can do in front of your pastor, your bishop, or something." Robin also stated that she and Cody didn't kiss until they were engaged. Robin said, "His face smashed mine. That was it, it wasn't anything super sexy," to explain their PDA moment. But Christine gave birth to her and Cody's 6th child before Robin married the Brown family patriarch. Shortly after that, the baby was also in the couple's wedding photos. Christine's new book, Sister Wife, a memoir of faith, family, and finding freedom, will come out on September 2, 2025. Fans of the show Sister Wives are excited for Christine's book. One person wrote in the comments section of Christine's Instagram post, "Love that you are reading it and not someone else. It makes books so much better to listen to. I can't wait to read." But Sister Wives first aired on TLC in September 2010. At the time, Cody Brown had 4 wives: Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, Christine Brown, and Robin Brown. Since then, the Brown family's relationships have changed a lot. Christine and Cody announced their split in November 2021. Janelle followed suit a little over a year later in December 2022, and by January 2023, it was confirmed that Mary and Cody had also gone their separate ways. But it was a clear fall morning in Flagstaff. Christine Brown sipped her tea and stared out at the mountains. The golden leaves fluttered gently from the trees outside her window. But her heart wasn't there anymore. It hadn't been for a long time. Christine sat at the kitchen table with a notebook open in front of her. It was full of plans. Plans to move to Utah, her home state, where she felt truly alive. After months of soul-searching, crying, and sleepless nights, she had finally made up her mind. It was time to get her happiness back. Christine's marriage to Cody had long felt one-sided. Their relationship had gone from being full of hope, shared dreams, and laughter to being strained, distant, and disconnected. Christine tried to ignore the pain and focus on the kids, the family, and the bigger picture. But when her daughter truly started asking, "Why doesn't Daddy stay with us anymore?" Christine knew she couldn't pretend any longer. Christine made her choice known at a family meeting that was very emotional. "I've made up my mind," she replied, her voice firm but her hands shaking a little. "I'm going to Utah." Cody's face went pale. "You're tearing this family apart," he yelled. "No, Christine said softly but firmly. This family was broken a long time ago. I'm just choosing to heal. Mary sat there in shock. Robin glanced down, trying not to cry, not because she was losing Christine, but because she was worried about what this would do to Cody. Janelle, on the other hand, smiled softly. Christine, you deserve to be happy, Janelle murmured as she reached across the table to clasp her hand. Utah will be lucky to have you back. Christine smiled through her tears. It was the first real smile she had seen in weeks. Christine started putting her life into boxes in the weeks that followed. She packed up more than just her stuff. She also packed up memories, difficulties, and goals that had come true. She unearthed old photo albums from family trips, letters from the early days of her marriage, and school projects from the kids. While cleaning out the closet one afternoon, she uncovered a framed saying she had once posted by the front door. Where there is love, there is life. She looked at it for a time, then put it in the keep box. She was choosing love for herself again. The day of the transfer came. Christine placed the last boxes into the moving truck. Truly stood next to her, cuddling her stuffed llama. Christine addressed her with a smile. Are you ready for this adventure? Truly nodded. I can't wait to see Grandma again. Christine looked in the rearview mirror as they drove away from Flagstaff. Behind her were the pieces of a life she had outgrown. In front of her was the long trip to Utah, where she would find family, independence, and herself. When Christine got to Salt Lake City, her older children and mother gave her warm hugs. Her new house was small but bright. That first night, she stood on the back porch, wrapped in a blanket, and watched the stars. She felt at peace. Peace that was real and could not be denied. Christine did very well in the weeks that followed. She joined a women's support group, launched a podcast about loving yourself after polygamy, and even started writing a book. Her relationship with her kids got better. And eventually, in a lovely way, she fell in love with life again. Christine's relocation to Utah wasn't just a change of residence. It was a statement. It said that she mattered, that her dreams were real, and that she didn't have to give up her happiness for a relationship that wasn't working for her anymore. Christine considered her move as the most important beginning of her life, even though others would have thought it was the end of something. This time, she said to herself one night, I'm writing my own story. But it was a hot late summer afternoon in Flagstaff, and Cody Brown stood in the middle of the family cul-de-sac, holding his phone securely in one hand and a clipboard in the other. His face was red, not just from the heat but also from being angry. Help me, he said as he walked back and forth. Why isn't anyone following the rules I've spent weeks putting together? Cody had been in charge of enforcing a strict set of family interaction protocols ever since the family had major splits and loyalties changed. He called them the Harmony Rules, and they were a 17-point system that decided who could visit whom, when, how long they could stay, and what topics were off-limits in conversations. He was doing everything he could to protect what was remained of his big family from falling apart altogether. Janelle had just come back from visiting Christine in Utah, and she didn't tell Cody ahead of time. When he confronted her, she yelled, It's not a military operation, Cody. We're grown women, not cadets. Robin, on the other hand, had tried to follow Cody's plan exactly, which made her kids angry and distant. Solomon said, Dad's chart says we can't see Aurora until Thursday, and he looked sad. But it's her birthday today. To make things worse, Mary had just started spending more time at her B&B in Utah, coming and going as she liked. Cody called her rebellious. Mary, as usual, cast him a quiet but piercing stare before getting back in her car. Cody was freaking out now that he was outside with his clipboard blowing in the wind and his patience running out. During his solo interview, he exclaimed to the camera, I'm the only one trying to hold this together. His golden hair were all over the place, and his voice, which was usually confident, shook. No one listens. I'm running a system here, and everyone ignores it. Messages were coming in fast and furious on the family group chat. Christine, why do we need a 4-page document to eat with our kids? Janelle, I didn't agree to the Cody Constitution. Robin, I suppose he's simply trying to help. Mary, good luck making that happen with folks who think for themselves. That night, Cody tried to explain how important it is for the family to stick together by using structure in a quickly called Family Zoom Council. But as the other boxes on the screen blinked in and out, kids eating dinner, women half listening, Christine laughing with David off-screen in her new kitchen, Cody realized something. The family he thought he could control didn't exist the way he thought it did. He murmured, "I don't want to lose them," as the screen went dark. Weeks later, Robin's garage had a dusty shelf with the protocol binder on it. Cody stopped talking about systems and protocols. Instead, he would show up without an appointment just to say hi or drop off a dinner. And eventually, although not without some awkwardness, the family started to establish its own rhythm again. Not via regulations, but through real, messy, human connection. Love is all you need sometimes. But viewers had never seen anything like Sister Wives Season 18 before. What began off as a season of contemplation swiftly turned into one of confrontation, heartbreak, and shocking revelations. The Brown family, who had formerly been united in faith and love, found themselves on the brink of change. The first big surprise happened in episode 2. Cody was captured in a covert meeting with a Flagstaff real estate developer. Cameras zoomed in as he signed paperwork without telling Mary, Janelle, Christine, or Robin. The viewers were shocked to see that Cody had bought a new house just in Robin's name. Janelle was the first to find out, and she had a rare, angry fight on camera. "This isn't just about property," she yelled. "It's about betrayal. You can't build a future for one wife and ignore the others." Christine delivered a bomb just when the family was having a hard time. In episode 4, during a family healing dinner staged by TLC producers, she stood up and calmly said, "I'm getting married. His name is David, and he treats me the way I should be treated." Robin's face turned white. Mary clapped. Cody's jaw fell. He couldn't believe that Christine had moved on and was really happy. Cody said, "I thought we had problems that weren't solved." Christine smiled and said, "I fixed them without you." Fans started to notice that Robin wasn't in a lot of family scenes in the middle of the season. In episode 7, it was revealed that she had been seeing her ex-husband behind Cody's back. She denied being in a romantic relationship, but the family was shocked to learn that she had taken her children without telling Cody. Cody said he felt betrayed. "I gave her everything. And now I understand that she may never have really let go of her past." In one of the season's most moving episodes, Janelle brought her kids and close friends to Utah for a spiritual separation ceremony. She wore a flowing white dress and was surrounded by candles as she publicly stated that she was free from Cody's emotional grip. "I am no longer spiritually bound to this man," she replied, her voice firm but full of tears. Christine cried, even though she was now engaged. Cody didn't go. Episode 10 contained the most talked-about event of the season. Mary debuted a new character, a woman named Eliza. Fans had been wondering about Mary's changing identity for a long time, and she verified on camera that she was in a serious same-sex relationship. Mary stated, "I've finally stopped living for others. This is who I am." Robin didn't want to talk. Cody labeled it a betrayal of faith, while Janelle and Christine publicly backed her. Cody was falling apart by episode 12. In a live special, he lost it completely, raging at the producers, throwing his mic, and leaving the set. "You've made me a villain in my own life," he yelled before disappearing into the night. The end was bittersweet. In the last scene, the original family convened one more time at Coyote Pass. They started a symbolic bonfire, and each lady threw something from her time with Cody into the fire. Christine threw in a damaged necklace, Janelle dropped a shredded family portrait, Mary put in an old wedding ring, and Robin stood there without saying anything and then departed. Christine whispered as the fire burned, "We're not sister wives anymore, but we're still strong women." Season 18 was a turning point for the Brown family and for everyone who has ever believed in second chances, personal growth, and the power of making your own choices. But the sun beat down on the red rocks of Flagstaff, Arizona, as Cody Brown stood silently at the edge of a mesa, the wind tugging at his long curls. Behind him, The chaos of his plural family life was unraveling faster than he could hold it together. His world, once so full of unity, shared dreams, and hopeful beginnings, was now marked by silence, empty chairs, and the sting of emotional distance. It was time for a journey. Not a journey across states, but one within himself. It all started with a dinner. The table that used to be full of laughter was now silent. Christine had already left and was doing well in Utah with David. Janelle had set her limits. Mary had already emotionally detached, and even Robin, who was once thought to be the closest, had begun to doubt the strength of their bond. Cody was alone in the living room, looking at framed memories on the wall of birthdays, family trips, and commitment ceremonies. The cracks weren't only in the drywall, they were in his heart, his convictions, and his pride. Cody chose to go. Not forever, but long enough to figure things out. He drove an old pickup truck to a secluded cabin in Wyoming that his father used to own. There were no cameras, no phones, and no sister wives. It was just him and the reality he had been avoiding for a long time. He made his own meals, chopped wood, wrote in a notebook every morning, and prayed every night while he was alone. At first, the stillness was deafening, but over time, it became clear. He thought about the times he didn't listen and the times he chose control over compassion. He had previously hoped to form a family that could change how people love and live together. Now he questioned if he had really lived those beliefs or just reinforced his own. Cody sat outside by the fire one night and thought about the women who had changed his life. Christine's bravery, Janelle's strength, Mary's loyalty, and Robin's emotional depth. Each of them had loved him in their own way, and at least once, they had all been silent about how hard it was to live up to expectations. "I let them down," he said to the stars. Not as a provider, but as a partner. Cody came back to Flagstaff 6 weeks later. He didn't organize a family meeting or try to solve everything in one day. Instead, he went to see each of his wives, or ex-wives, alone, without cameras or speeches, and just told the truth. He said, "Christine, thank you for showing me what it means to choose yourself." He told Janelle, "You were always my equal, but I treated you like a soldier." He finally told Mary, "I held on to you because I was afraid of losing you, not because I loved you. I'm sorry." He told Robin, "You became my shield. That wasn't fair to you." Some talks ended in tears, some in nods, and one concluded in a hug that he thought would never happen again. Months went by. Cody didn't rebuild the same life. He built a new one. He sold the dream of one big house and put his money into smaller, more sustainable plans. He started a podcast called The Unspoken Truth, where he talked about the real problems of plural marriage, being a man, and being vulnerable. It became an unexpected hit. He stopped trying to control love and allowed it develop. He accepted being a parent, a grandfather, and a guy who made errors but decided to learn from them. Cody stood on the same mesa where his adventure began a year later. This time, he wasn't alone. His kids, some wives, and some ex-wives were with him. The air was lighter, and the silence was no longer awkward. It was just nice. He grinned as he glanced out, not because everything was beautiful, but because he had finally started being honest with them and with himself. "I thought I was the leader," he later told an interviewer, "but I was just scared of being led. Now I walk next to the people I love, not in front of them or behind them." But it was a chilly, dismal morning in Flagstaff when things in the Brown house got really bad. The snow had covered the lots of Coyote Pass, making the area look like a winter paradise, but inside the hearts of the sister wives, there was nothing but anger and frustration. Cody had promised each wife a custom home on the Coyote Pass land for years, but not a single foundation had been laid. There had been meetings, blueprints drawn, and arguments that lasted all night. But now, after all the talk, the wives were starting to wonder if those lots were just a dream that would never come true. Janelle stood at the edge of her lot, wearing a heavy coat and with her hands in her pockets. She looked very sad. "I was supposed to have a garden," she told Christine, who was standing next to her. "A full greenhouse, a porch that faced the mountains. Now I'm living in a tiny RV while Cody paints big dreams with no paintbrush." Christine nodded, her own eyes full of sympathy and something else. Determination. He keeps saying we'll build next year. But how many times can a man say that before it's just a lie? Christine said. Mary was alone on the other side of the property, quietly looking at her corner lot, which was the smallest of the four. Cody had always promised her fairness, but it didn't feel like it. She told the camera during her confession, "I don't think he ever meant for me to have a home here. I think my place in the family has always been temporary, just like this piece of land he keeps pretending is mine." Robin sat inside her warm, completely equipped leased home with a cup of hot chocolate. It was the only stable home for Cody, the only one he stayed in every night. She told the producers, "I don't know why everyone is so upset. Cody is doing his best. The pandemic slowed things down." But the other wives didn't believe it. Later, at a group meeting in Christine's temporary apartment, Janelle finally said what everyone else was thinking. "You got your house and your time. The rest of us got empty promises and frozen dirt." Robin was stunned, but Cody, who had been quiet for a long time, spoke up. "I've tried everything. But every time we make progress, someone pulls back. We can't be united if you all keep doubting me. Maybe we're not questioning you. Maybe we're finally realizing that we don't need to keep waiting for a man who only builds castles for one queen." That night, Christine packed her things. She had already been thinking about moving to Utah, but now she had made up her mind. She would purchase her own house with her own money and finally stop waiting for someone to tell her she could live a complete life. After a lot of contemplation, Janelle began to hunt for property for herself in other places as well. She didn't want to abandon the family, but she was tired of being stuck in limbo. Mary, who used to be so loyal that she would have done anything for him, quietly started looking for a new home online. Months went by and the area at Coyote Pass stayed the same, just frozen ground and hopes that had been forgotten. Cody would sometimes walk around the property by himself, his boots crunching in the snow, and wonder how everything had fallen apart so quickly. He had hoped to leave a legacy, but instead he stood in front of empty lots, each one a monument to the wives who had finally chosen themselves. Hello, lovely viewers. Welcome to my channel. I am Sabrina, and I hope your day is going well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.